Maggie and Perloff. Glorious Tuesday. Well, not for Kyler Murray. See, I can't tell Perloff if once you sign a contract for $160 million guaranteed, you basically have won. At life, you get the last laugh. You've won at life. You now are a success story. If we're just going to measure by money, this is like an abstract amount of money to most people.
But you always hear rich people say money alone does not make you happy.
Yeah, that's just something rich people say.
Yeah, I would say rich people say that.
Yeah.
Non-rich people never, ever say that.
It definitely makes your life easier. But for Kyler Murray, that big contract now has come at a different expense, one that the entire sports world is now kind of pointing and laughing at him because of the clause that's in the contract that's nothing like we've ever seen before. You're rich, but you're a rich butt of a joke. Because the fact that the team had to put in an addendum to your contract that says not only do you have to watch film outside of the facility, but you cannot be distracted while you're watching film. It's like they've already thought 2 steps ahead of how you're going to try to circumvent this, and then they put the language in to try to correct that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but everyone is pointing and laughing at Kyler Murray, and I don't know if just getting a contract means he gets the last laugh. I feel like he has to do even more than that to try to get out from underneath what is now a stigma that he's not a hard worker.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be stuck with him. He's going to throw an interception during this regular season, and Twitter is going to make all these jokes about, oh, man, you should have put the joystick down and studied more.
Yeah, right.
You know how this works. You get some story attached to you, and it's with you forever. Like Mark Sanchez and the butt fumble jumps to mind.
Oh, my goodness. He'll never live that down. Mark Sanchez has won more playoff games than half the league right now. He will never live down the butt fumble.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky, Mr. ESPN telecast, running out of the back of the end zone. This is Kyler Murray's Dan Orlovsky running out of the back of the end zone. It will always be used against him. Unfortunately, he does get the $160 million. I don't think there's anything he can do to reverse. I don't know if damage is the right word, but he cannot really reverse this or get rid of this storyline.
Unless, I think it's got to be like a Super Bowl, which I'm already on record saying I don't think that Kyler Murray is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Obviously, he could prove me wrong, and all it takes is one great season, but I don't see him as a Super Bowl winning quarterback, yet I feel like that's almost the length he has to go. Or maybe winning an MVP. Does that get rid of this stigma?
That'd be good. That would help. That would help.
Start with the MVP. I mean, he's already got Pro Bowls. The guy's the offensive rookie of the year. See, when he was a rookie, I feel like Murray, listen, for as much as it seems like I'm not a fan, I actually am. I realize how athletic he is. I realize how incredible he is to watch. Just because I say I don't know if he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, or I don't think he is, doesn't mean I don't appreciate his talent. Of course I do. However, I would say this, his career was on an upward trajectory. I mean, even if I don't believe in him fully, I can't argue with what he's already done, which is, again, those accolades, the Pro Bowls, the Rookie of the Year. Clearly, the guy's not a bust by any stretch, and I think that his arrow is certainly pointing up, and but I feel like this story now just made this whole thing take a big left turn.
That's funny. I know he signed the contract. I know the Cardinals had to do that, but I don't think he's on a high, particularly after that playoff game.
Well, that was a rough.
It's hard to say up. In fact, I think there's a lot of questions with the second half collapses, real football questions. Forget the side story. I know the Cardinals had to sign him because he was unhappy, and they're not starting over a quarterback.
Right.
That's a franchise that's been in the quarterback desert, no pun intended, for a long time. So they had to sign him. But I don't think people viewed Kyler Murray as a huge up trajectory. By the way, let me ask a side question. How many quarterbacks do you think can win a Super Bowl in the NFL?
10.
So you don't think he's top 10? Do you think there's 10? Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
No, I know. And he won the MVP of that Super Bowl. He was a big reason. And obviously his big throw in Denver was one of the big reasons they even got to the Super Bowl.
Matthew Stafford won it. You probably wouldn't put him in the top 10 last year.
Listen, I didn't think Joe Burrow was getting to a Super Bowl this year. So I'm always willing to be surprised.
So when you say Kyler Murray can't win a Super Bowl, you did add the caveat that, of course, he could have a great year. I think you could go 18 quarterbacks deep to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I don't think you have to be that elite. And I think that's really where Kyler Murray lives, between 10 and 15.
Okay. I mean, I'll be willing to agree with you on that one. I don't know. It just kind of feels like beyond a couple of outliers, like the Ryan Tannehills, because you have an excellent run game, or, if there's another reason why you're really, really
Totally.
good, it's usually the quarterback is who's leading you there, unless you have like a Von Miller or, an Aaron Donald, something like that. But I guess like the thing about the second half collapses, well, obviously Murray has to own some of that. Doesn't Cliff Kingsbury have to own a lot of that too? See, I'm willing to split a lot of the blame there for these second half collapses between Murray and Kingsbury. I don't think he skates here. And clearly the organization, while they gave him Kingsbury an extension, they've clearly made their choice here. They're going with the quarterback. When you invest that kind of money, you've made your decision. We are more likely to stick with Kyler Murray than we are with Cliff Kingsbury.
Right, but I don't think paying Kyler Murray said, hey, we're ready to get rid of Cliff Kingsbury. They extended him this offseason.
I know, but another second half collapse, Kingsbury to me is probably gone.
Maybe. I think Cliff and Kyler are a bit married.
Maybe.
They're a perfect fit. There's no way Kyler Murray was the number one pick if Cliff Kingsbury didn't get that job in Arizona. That's absolutely, to me, the only reason he was the number one pick. I think 31 other teams would have passed on that. Tell me a team that would have taken a 5'10" quarterback out of.
I don't know. Ever since Russell Wilson, I don't think that it's that big of a deal anymore. And Baker.
But you remember that draft. There certainly is a huge factor of Cliff Kingsbury getting that job.
Well, also, this turns out that it wasn't actually like an amazing quarterback draft. Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins, may he rest in peace.
There wasn't anyone sniffing around Kyler at number one overall other than Arizona. That whole thing, and I don't think Cliff would have gotten that job if Kyler Murray wasn't available as a number one pick. They are totally tied together. Yeah. They obviously have a background together. I don't know. It's funny. People don't blame Cliff for that second half collapse. It's always about Kyler.
Well, I mean, I think they should be splitting the blame, but I just wonder, and what do you think at 855-212-4CBS? Is there a way for Kyler Murray to get past this story short of like winning a Super Bowl or winning an MVP? That's basically, I think, where the bar is for him to have this thing fully go away, because you're right. We attach on to certain, narratives or whatever. And it just seems like for some guys, it's really hard to shake them. You and I were talking before the show. You had a good one, which was like Wonderlic scores. Yeah. They mean absolutely nothing, but we assign value, they don't even give the Wonderlic anymore. But whether you do really good on it, like Ryan Fitzpatrick who aced it, or you do really poorly on it, that tends to stick with you too. And we make judgments that just aren't fair.
You could almost look at any quarterback and there's something attached to him.
Yeah.
Go through the teams. Mac Jones, his body. We always got to hear about that. Tua Tagovailoa underthrew Tyreek Hill on a social media clip. Things always come back. Little stupid things that mean nothing always come back. Basically, we're petty. We're petty.
But this is also not little to me.
It's not huge. You don't think that the media is overblowing this little clause in there?
No, because the reason why I don't think the media is because I've now, over the last 24 hours, I've heard from plenty of front office executives who have also weighed in to say this is not normal. Now, I'll tell you, I think this could become a little more commonplace in contracts. If you're asking me, not just quarterbacks, but other areas on the football field, you have attention spans that are diminishing all the time. I mean, I can feel it in myself, let alone someone who's growing up in this age of technology. Our attention spans are at zero. We're constantly multitasking. I guarantee if you are listening to the sound of my voice, the odds that you're just sitting there listening are so slim. You're in a car, you're doing something else, you have us on in the background. We're always constantly multitasking. I mean, you should be hanging on every word we say, but I get it. People are busy. So I could see this becoming a bit more commonplace. Maybe not boilerplate, but the other part is he's the quarterback, and we expect that this is always going to be the most dialed in, hardest working person in the building. Yeah,
that's why I'd be shocked if there was another contract like this. You just assume the quarterback is working hard. Isn't that what aren't there all these stories about quarterbacks getting to the facility at 5:00? Isn't that happening at all 30? I guess it's not happening at all 32 facilities.
I can think of one it's not happening.
But I do think when you're looking at a contract or something like this, you should be able to see on the field, is he worth this money? And if Kyler Murray could do that without that 4 hours of work a week, then I don't know. That's why it's not that big a deal to me. Obviously, they had enough faith in him to give him $160 million guaranteed. I can't picture any quarterback not studying enough and being good enough to get that contract? That's so weird.
Well, it just goes to show, I mean, he said, and we weren't the first person to bring this up, that the New York Times had done a profile on Kyler Murray back in December where he admits it. He says he sees the game in a cognitive way where he doesn't feel like he has to be just like grinding through tape. He, understands what he wants to do with the football. Maybe he's got a good memory even. Like he's able to just take in the information and is able to process it quickly without having to do a lot of homework.
Yeah.
I mean, do you just buy that as a reason for not doing a lot of film
At least it's a reason. It's something. It doesn't, his problem, Kyler Murray's problem is not talent, and I don't think it's his highs are great. It's inconsistency. We've seen so many games where Kyler's unbelievable. He has these wow throws. Why can't he put it together consistently? What's missing there?
Well, I mean, outside of an ankle injury last year, maybe they could have kept it going, but he did lose his best weapon. How about this as another small detail from the New York Times piece about Kyler Murray? Did this one stick out to you? He also said his favorite movie, NFL quarterback. You guys want to take some guesses?
Remember the Titans.
A lot of people would say, remember the Titans. I remember that the movie, 300 was really big for a while with guys. It's The Great Gatsby.
Ugh.
It was
the one with Leo?
Yes. It inspired the pink pinstripe suit he wore to the NFL draft. The first time he saw the films, now I'm reading from the New York Times, he said he was hooked. The themes of hope and love and the American dream resonated for Murray. So did the title character, Jay Gatsby, a complex and inscrutable stranger. Quote, the fact that he could throw these huge parties, nobody's ever met him, nobody knows who he is, nobody knows what he looks like. That to me was so cool. I mean, there's another part of Murray as being the reluctant star, even though he was a star in high school, winning 3 championships for the biggest high school in the state of Texas, or one of them. And obviously winning the Heisman when he went to Oklahoma. And then, of course, being the number 1 overall pick and being a first-round pick in Major League Baseball, too.
By the way, that version of Great Gatsby is so overblown and terrible. But I like that. Obviously, it's his first introduction to the Great Gatsby story.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It's a great story.
It's a great story. But, this is who he identifies with.
Yeah.
The guy who was behind the scenes. I mean, we don't have to get really into the Great Gatsby. We want to do a little summer reading, list about what he was into. The guy was like a low-key criminal. But, the idea that he would throw these big parties trying to lure... What was her name? Not Daphne. Daisy, thank you. Trying to lure her over to his home as they were long-lost, unrequited lovers.
Someone from the other side of the glass has been in high school more recently and remembers what happened in Great Gatsby.
I'm actually older, so...
Samter's older than me by a couple
I didn't see who said it. Okay.
Yeah.
And you remember that?
No, Kevin is younger than all of us. Pat's also younger.
Man,
Are they still assigning the Great Gatsby? I hope so. Yeah, they are, right?
I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know.
Samter graduated high school in the 90s. What am I asking you for?
I got to tell you, all this, if I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan, I am not looking forward to this. This feels like it is all headed towards 8 and 9. Gosh, this has 8 and 9 imprinted over the entire story.
And, after your quarterback signs this massive contract, you really don't want to go 8 and 9. That's not that inspiring.
Yeah. That's sort of the problem. You're committed to Kyler Murray. And coming off of last year, I just think there's got to be a lot of pessimism there. Man. Actually, I don't know. Phoenix fans, are they generally pro Cardinals? Mike, you live there. Are they into the team? Are they positive?
They're into the team and the team is winning. So the problem was early on, they used to play at the Sun Devil Stadium. It was terrible, hot benches and seats. Nobody went to the games. Nobody cared. They made the stadium in Glendale. Ooh. They brought Edgerrin James there, and the whole valley just blew up with Cardinals fever. Okay. Then they went to the Super Bowl and should have won that game against the Steelers, but that was an incredible run. The Suns have always been the team in Phoenix, but the Cardinals, I think, have overtaken that over the past 5 or 10 years. Arizona, Phoenix is a Cardinals town, and that those fans are obsessed with the Cardinals at this point.
I wonder if they're into Kyler Murray. Is part of that $160 million to sell tickets?
To show that, here's the thing, right? You're showing all this confidence in your quarterback, yet you need a clause in his contract that says the guy's got to watch film. I mean, how good does anyone really feel about this? And I'll tell you, that whole boomer bust thing does feel like it's right here for the Cardinals. This could go one of two ways. This puts a massive chip on his shoulder and propels him to like an MVP season, and the Cardinals, are like, look, we were smarter than everybody to give Murray this contract and put that clause in it, or it feels like it tilt the other way where all of a sudden, and especially, and I don't know where this came from, especially if the team leaked out the detail, because it makes Murray look really bad. So if Murray thinks the team leaked out the detail, and I don't know why his agent would do it because it would be silly, then there could be some really bad feelings going on between the front office and Murray. Because who else would have leaked this?
But he got the guaranteed money. That's all he cares about.
Well, I don't know. Thank you for watching our video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos like this, just hit the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Just hit the bell.